Good morning everyone. In this class we are going to discuss about ecosystems and our human ecology, that is the relationship between human and our surrounding environment. Okay, now what is an ecosystem? An ecosystem is a dynamic and interconnected community of living organisms and their non-living surroundings. Okay, these are fish, plants, bacteria, algae are all living organisms, and their surrounding means sunlight, water, rock, soils. All this process is known as ecosystem. It is a miniature model of the natural world where plants, animals, and microorganisms coexist and interact. They can be of any size, from a small tide pool to an entire forest. Crucially, when one component of an ecosystem is changed, it can have a ripple effect on the entire ecosystem. Okay, there are two types of components in ecosystem: biotic components, that is living beings, and abiotic components, that is non-living beings like water, soil, rocks, etc. The foundation abiotic factors provide the stage for life. Abiotic components are the non-living physical and chemical elements of an ecosystem. They provide a framework for life to thrive and can act as limiting factors, preventing a population from growing larger if resources are scarce. Okay, abiotic components. What abiotic component means? Abiotic components control the expansion of population as the amount of available natural resources. Okay, preventing the population from growing larger if the resources is scarce. If the resources is limited, then ultimately it's lead to limited population, controlling by the abiotic components. There are some climatic factors like temperature, precipitation, humidity, wind, and sunlight. Edaphic factors like soil type, pH level, nutrient availability. These all are examples of abiotic factors. The living traits. Now, organisms weave the web of life. Biotic components are all the living organisms within an ecosystem. Their interactions primarily focus on energy transfer and nutrient cycling are essential for maintaining ecological balance. Okay, there are three types of biotic components in an ecosystem which structure the nutrient cycles. These are producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers are organisms that create their own food using sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. Okay, plants are the main producers of the ecosystem. Consumers, organisms that eat other organisms. Herbivores eat plants, carnivores eat other animals. These are consumers. And decomposers, organisms that break down dead organisms and waste. Bacteria and fungi return nutrients to the soil for producers. Okay, these are three main mechanisms of a nutrient cycle composed of biotic components of the ecosystem. Now, the concept of food chain, the energy of flow of energy. The food chain is a linear sequence where energy is transferred from one organism to the next. It demonstrates how different organisms are interconnected and depend on each other for their survival. For example, primary consumers, rabbits, are dependent on grass. Grass is the producer. Then secondary consumer like fox are dependent on primary consumer like rabbit, and tertiary consumer like wolf are dependent on secondary consumer like fox. Okay, there is a interconnectedness between each and every sectors of the food chain. Food chains are fragile. If one organism is disrupted, it can have a ripple effect on the entire chain. Now, the complex web of symbiosis. Symbiosis represents the close and long-term interdependence between different species. These relationships and incredible complexity and resilience to an ecosystem. Mutualism, communalism, and parasitism. Okay, mutualism means both benefit. Ants live in the hollow thorns of acacia trees, protecting them from herbivores. In return, the trees provide food and shelter. That means they are benefited from each other. Communalism, one benefits, one is unaffected. Okay, barnacles attach themselves to the hulls of ships. The barnacles benefits from the right while a ship is not armed. Okay, one is benefited, other is not affected. Parasitism, one benefits, one is harmed. Okay, ticks attach themselves to animals and feed on their blood, harming the host through blood loss and risks of infection. Okay, another example of parasitism is mosquitoes. Okay, takes blood from human beings and harms human body. Okay, these are three basic types of symbiosis. Now, the geographic classification of ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem on land like tundra, founded in Arctic, Antarctic regions, it contains sparse vegetation. Tropical rainforest found in near equator, high rainfall and immense biodiversity contains. Deserts, low rainfall and extreme temperature adapted to life. Grasslands, moderate rainfall, few trees, grazing animals. Aquatic ecosystems in winter, marine, oceans and seas, high salinity, example coral reefs. Freshwater, lakes, rivers, streams, low salinity, examples wetlands. Human-made ecosystem like urban areas and agricultural lands are created, maintained and heavily influenced by human activities. These are known as human-made ecosystems. They are designed to meet specific needs but often have a significant impact on the natural world. Okay, human-made ecosystems have some specific needs and usually they always sometimes impacts on the their surrounding natures. Okay, like for example, agricultural fields, urban parks, aquariums, that means fish decoration, and zoos, that means animal demonstration. Now, what is human ecology? Human ecology is the study of the intricate relationship between human beings and their immediate nature or environment. It recognizes the profound interconnections our actions, choices, and activities impact the ecosystems we inhabit. Every action that humans takes has an impact on the environment, and every change in the environment has an impact on nature. That means both are related to each other. Human impacts on the environment, on the other hand, environment determine the activities of humankind. Now, the global impact of human activities: climate change, burning fossil fuels traps heat and warming the planet and causing extreme weather, that is global warming. Pollution, harmful substances for factories, cars, and agriculture contaminate air, water, and soil, that is pollution. Deforestation, clearing forests for agriculture or development leads to soil erosion and habitat loss. Overfishing or overgrazing. Overfishing means a maximum amount of fishing outmost to the utmost level. Harvesting fish faster than they can reproduce causes the collapse to fisheries and loss of biodiversity of the fish species. Then habitat loss, the destruction of natural habitats is a major threat of global biodiversity. These are some global impact of human activities on the human and natural environment. Okay, there is a case study. The lungs of the earth begins to stutter in the Amazon rainforest, often called the lungs of the earth. This critical ecosystem is a global hub for biodiversity. Primates, widespread deforestation for agriculture and development and increasing stress from climate change, and also leads to forest fire and deforestation. Another case study, a world of color fades to white. The Great Barrier Reef, the world's largest coral reef system located in Australia, is an essential marine ecosystem. Primates coral bleaching caused by rising ocean temperatures and ocean acidification from increased carbon dioxide, that is CO2. Okay, now the balancing act of conservation and sustainability. There are some measures, mitigation measures to prevent this biodiversity loss. For example, conservation, the practice of protecting and restoring the natural world. It aims to safeguard ecosystems and their biodiversity from harm. Sustainability, the practice of meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs through responsible resource management. Then balancing these two imperatives is the essential challenges of our time. Okay, conservation and sustainability. By redesigning our core systems, we can reduce our negative impact and begin to work in harmony with natural systems. Sustainable agriculture, practices like crop rotation and integrated pest management that produce food while protecting the environment. Sustainable forestry, managing forests to harvest timber while maintaining biodiversity and ecological function, using selective harvesting and replanting. Sustainable fisheries, harvesting fish at a sustainable rate using catch limits and gear restrictions to prevent the collapse of fisheries. Renewable energy, investing in sources like solar and wind powers to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels and combat climate change. The ecosystems are the life support system of our planet. Promoting environmental education and awareness is crucial in fostering a sense of responsibility, empowering individuals and communities to take actions that benefits of our world. By understanding the intricate web and our profound connection to it, we can learn to coexist in a more harmonious and sustainable way. That's all for today. If you have any doubt and query, just let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Thank you.